Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. One of the worst rushing defenses in the country going up against one of the best rushing attacks in the country. That is the storyline to watch as we enter the Armed Forces Bowl between Missouri and Army. And guys, I can tell you, I am a huge fan of this matchup. Ever since I saw this bowl game announced, I had it circled on my calendar. This is going to be a fun one. Missouri entering this game by winning 3 of their final 5 games just to get to bowl eligibility. Army, fresh off another solid season under Jeff Monken, coming in at 8-4, but ending their season with a disappointing loss to Navy. Will the Black Knights be able to bounce back and regroup from that? We are here to break down everything you need to know for the Armed Forces Bowl, guys. Who is going to prevail in this matchup? Will it be the Tigers out of the SEC, or will it be the Black Knights of Army? So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. Again, if you want the spread pick for this game right here, the spread pick for Missouri and Army, and the spread pick for every single bowl game this season, go over to thegridironexpert.com and sign up for Expert Picks. They are some of the best spread picks in the country, have been all year long, have consistently beat out over 80% of the national analysts, have done that each of the last 3 years. We're doing it again now. And of course, we're going to have NFL spread predictions over there as well. So if you haven't signed up for those, make sure to jump on them now. One of the best prices, lowest prices in the country for the best value, because you are going to win. You are going to make money at the Gridiron Expert. So if you want bowl game predictions, if you want spread picks for every single bowl game, spread picks for every NFL playoff game, thegridironexpert.com is the place for you. And again, check that out. Sign up today. The link down in the description below. So let's take a look at this game, guys. Again, a very interesting game between Army and Missouri. You know, a lot of people look at this and they go, oh, Missouri out of the SEC, they've got it in the bag. And as we know, especially in the postseason, that's not the case. You know, in the postseason, we throw a lot of things out the window. You throw records out the window. You throw conference affiliation out the window. So many things change for some of these teams. You know, motivation's a factor. Players opting out. You know, obviously momentum. Do they carry that in by getting hot like Missouri did, winning 3 of their final 5 to get here? Or do they stay hungover after a crushing loss, like Army having fallen to Navy? So a lot of factors going into this Armed Forces Bowl. Let's start on offense. Let's start with Missouri. An offense that's balanced with 233.2 passing yards per game and 178.9 rushing yards per game. But at the end of the day, guys, as balanced as they may be, there is one player that defines this Missouri offense, and it is their running back, and Tyler Beatty, who had a season to remember. Rushed for over 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns, had 5 games with at least 200 rushing yards. Not 5 games with at least 100, 5 games with at least 200 rushing yards, including 3 200-plus yard games in the final 5. Remember, Missouri did win 3 of those final 5 games. So Tyler Beatty is the workhorse. He is the guy that's, to me, going to make or break Missouri's offense and give them the best chance to win this Armed Forces Bowl over Army. Now, they do have a quarterback, obviously, in Connor Bazelak. He threw for over 2,500 yards, 16 touchdowns, and just 11 interceptions. But Bazelak failed to eclipse 200 passing yards in each of the final 3 games. Never got over 200 passing yards. And Eli Drinkwitz said, hey, we've got an open competition. You know, we are not, Bazelak is not guaranteed that starting job for this Armed Forces Bowl. So whether Bazelak starts this game, with him being as inconsistent as he's been, whether Drinkwitz decides to go with somebody else, that kind of remains to be seen, and that will play a major role into, obviously, Army's game plan defensively, but how well Missouri's offense gels. Do you stick with a guy that's more experienced, but has been very inconsistent, or we give somebody some fresh legs, because, hey, for some people, it's just a meaningless bowl game. We take a look at Army. We know what their offense is all about. It's all about the triple option. That's how it is with Army. That's how it is with Navy. That's how it is with Air Force. It's all about the triple option. The Black Knights average 33.6 points per game and 286.4 rushing yards per game. That ranks second in the country. The second ranked rushing offense in the country. And what else would you expect? Number 1 is Air Force. That's what you would expect from these military academies. Army has 10 players. 10 players that have rushed for at least 100 yards. But they have 2 guys that are the main workhorses. Tyrell Robinson has 603 yards on the year, and their quarterback, Christian Anderson, 580 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. Those are the two players that you want to watch out for the most, while you can also look at the bruising runner in Jacoby Buchanan, who has 11 touchdowns on the year. You cannot forget about him. So really, for me, if you're looking for three key players, a three-headed monster is those three right there. But Tyrell Robinson and Christian Anderson, to me, are going to make or break Army's offense here. Those are the two players that are going to make the biggest plays and get the Black Knights the best chance to win this game. When you look at the defense, we'll start with Missouri. It's a problem. It's been a problem all year long. The Tigers lucky enough just to get here to the 6-6 mark. Barely got it. Needed that overtime victory over Florida to get to this point because they fell in the season finale to Arkansas. But the Tigers, they gave up 34.7 points per game. They gave up 445.4 total yards per game. And here's the key number. We said the Tigers had one of the worst rushing defenses in the country. We weren't exaggerating. The Tigers are allowing 229.3 rushing yards per game. That ranks 125th nationally. Missouri has the 125th ranked rushing defense in the country. There are 130 teams at the FBS level. That means they are better against the run than 5 teams in the entire country, only better than 5 teams. And if you're Army, you're licking your chops. You're like, we've got this. We have the second ranked rushing offense in the country, and we are going up against the 125th ranked rushing defense in the country. It's a big mismatch. It's a very tall task for Missouri. Yes, many will point and say Missouri's rushing defense has gotten better as the year has gone on. It was horrendous early on in the year. Some will say those numbers are skewed and that the Tigers have gotten better. And that is true. That is true. They have gotten a little bit better, but not drastically. Those numbers still hold true here. And guys, again, Missouri, I don't think, has faced a rushing attack as dangerous and as difficult as this Army one. Not even close. Look at the Army defense. They are only allowing 22.3 points per game and just 320.3 total yards per game. Their key number is also that against the run. Army's only allowing 111.3 rushing yards per game. That's it. So if I'm Army, if I'm Jeff Monken, I'm sitting here saying, hey, all we got to do, guys, is we got to shut down Tyler Beatty. And that's easier said than done because Beatty has been phenomenal this year. But if you take away Missouri's running game and make them one-dimensional, it's going to be looking pretty good if you're Army. Because again, whether it's Bazelak or someone else in their center, I'm sure many Missouri fans would agree, you don't feel too confident in your quarterback. You don't feel too confident in your passing game. You want to ride Tyler Beatty as long as possible. You want to ride him as much as possible. And if Army takes him away, almost makes him a non-factor, slows him down, then the Missouri offense is going to struggle. That's going to be the key here. Both teams, Missouri and Army, their ultimate goal defensively is going to be shut down the run and force the other team to pass. Obviously, regardless of who plays quarterback for Missouri, they're going to be better equipped to pass than Army because they don't want to do that. Christian Anderson can throw when needed, but they don't want to be put in a position where they can throw. Missouri can throw it way better than Army can. But at the end of the day, neither team wants to do it. Both teams would like to rely on their star runners, on their running game, ground and pound, run the clock out, and get away with what could potentially be a low-scoring Armed Forces Bowl. So what is going to happen in this Armed Forces Bowl? What is going to happen? Again, it is a game where it comes down to who stops the run. Here's the million-dollar problem, though. Again, the number 2 rushing offense in Army going up against the 125th ranked rushing defense in Missouri. That should be enough to pick Army, right? But I'm going to give you one better. I'm going to go just a step forward here. Army, with their triple option, their style of play, they control the clock. And we know this. Time of possession is so key. And Army is going to dominate the time of possession just like they do in the majority of the games that they play. Which for me means that a few scores for Army, 10 points, 14 points, and 1 or 2 stops against this Missouri team could spell the end for Missouri. If Army just gets 10, 14 points and gets a few stops against the Tigers, Army can just milk the clock. And if they take up 7, 8 minutes per drive and come away with points, especially touchdowns, 1 or 2 stops is all it's going to take because the Tigers will rarely see the ball. And that's going to be the key for Army here. And that's why we're going to pick Army to win this game. It's a mismatch in the rushing game. I have a lot more faith in Army's rushing attack right now against this Missouri defense than I do Missouri's against this Army defense. And then the time of possession is going to be so key. I don't have faith in Missouri's offense being able to capitalize on the very few possessions that they will have. I do have faith in Army being able to capitalize on the possessions that they have. And in what should be a relatively low-scoring game, give me Jeff Monken, give me the Black Knights clinching a 9-win season, bouncing back from that Navy loss, and taking down an opponent out of the SEC. This is going to be a fun one, guys. Again, I've had this circled on my calendar since the bowl games were released. This is going to be a fun one. But we're going to go with the Black Knights and what's going to be what many would say is a minor upset, but the Black Knights are favored in this game. And, of course, we're going to take them. So, guys, there you have it. Army taking down Missouri in the Armed Forces Bowl. Make sure to tune in for this one. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and, of course, check out everything down in the description below. If you want the spread pick for this Missouri Army game, make sure to go over to thegridironexpert.com and sign up for our expert picks today. If you want spread predictions and spread picks for every single bowl game, you've got to go over and sign up on thegridironexpert.com. Again, it's a year-long subscription. If you sign up now, you'll have it all the way through 2022. So, again, it's a deal that is, again, one of the best in the entire country, just like our record is. So make sure to take advantage of that. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.